you start a drawing after making a masterpiece and just can't live up to what you just did? Well, I've had that exact problem. We all have. I created a 3-step acronym, FIX, to learn and improve after each piece you make consistently. You need to watch every part because they build on top of each other, and if you aren't doing these steps after each piece, you're losing progress. The first part of this system relates to a story of an animator in the early 1900s. He was fired from his first animation job because his editor told him his work lacked imagination and had no good ideas. After his failure, he later acquired another animation studio that also went bankrupt. Only after these mistakes was the animator able to start one of the largest animation studios in the world. This man was named Walt Disney. He failed and eventually learned from his mistakes. When you create an artwork, by human nature you will make errors and mistakes, simply because we are human and make imperfections. And no, AI is not better than us. This means that all pieces of art that you make have countless lessons to learn from. Walt Disney had to fail countless times before he got a successful business. Sure, it's a business and not art, but the points are still the same. Those who fail more, learn more. So look at your last piece and analyze what went wrong, specifically with the fundamentals of art and design. Failure is not just something that happens, it's your most valuable tool. Every mistake, every awkward proportion, every messy composition isn't just an error, it's data. The difference between artists who improve and those who stay stuck is simple. The ones who improve actually pay attention to what went wrong. So when you finish a piece, don't just look at what you like. Look at what is wrong. Be specific. Are the forms stiff? Are the colours muddy? Are the values too flat? If you can't see what's wrong, put the piece away for a few days, then come back to it. And don't just trust your own eyes. Ask for feedback for someone better than you, or just from a normal other person. And this part hurts, but it's necessary. You can't fix what you refuse to see. So train yourself to view failure not as something to avoid, but as your most powerful teacher. Every flawed drawing is pointing to you. Every flawed drawing that you do is pointing out exactly where you need to go next. So that's the first point, failure. But for the second point, I think I should tell you a story. A story about a pottery class, where the teacher divided the students into 2 groups. One tasked with making the best pot they could make in 30 days. The other using the same amount of clay to create as many pots as possible. After the 30 days, both groups handed up their work, and the quality pot was very impressive. Probably one of the best pots that any of those students had ever made. However, the quantity group, one tasked with making the most pots, was actually where the best pot came from. Most were probably not that good, due to them being rushed. However, all of their attempts meant that they learned something. They learned infinitely more than the other group, and got eventually consistently high quality pots. And one was by far the best of all the pots from both groups. But what does this have to do with drawing? Well, everything. Now that you have gathered information of what went wrong with your art, it's time to learn. You need to find references from life and other artists and practice the forms. The more you can draw these in different ways, angles and proportions, the better you will get at drawing them. Once you know what went wrong, you need to fix it. Not just once, but over and over. Improvement does not come from understanding a concept, it comes from repeating it until it's second nature. Think of it like learning an instrument. If a pianist struggles with a certain note, they don't just move on and hope they get better. They drill the note over and over until it's effortless. Art works the same way. So break down your weakness into focused drills. If your perspective is weak, draw boxes in space until they are natural. If you struggle with faces, sketch heads from every angle. Don't just copy, experiment. Change proportions, exaggerate shapes, and push beyond just recreating the references. The more you iterate, the more your brain internalizes these forms, and once something becomes second nature, it shows up naturally in your finished work, without you even thinking about it. No one just does a couple math problems and say that they know trigonometry. No, you take a test. Now, I don't want to make drawing seem like a test, because it isn't. But for this, you need to apply your knowledge more than just a surface level understanding. Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." See, Bruce Lee understood something that most people don't. Knowledge isn't power until it is applied. You can study anatomy all day, watch every tutorial, and copy every master artist, but if you never sit down and create something real with those skills, more than just an isolated object alone in a blank plane of nothing, you'll never improve until you apply what you have learned to something better. You won't truly understand how to draw it. This is where most people fail. They practice, but they don't execute. They don't take all of the things they've learned and put them into actual pieces, where they're forced to solve problems, make artistic decisions, and push themselves beyond their comfort zone. So here's what you need to do. Pick a project, a finished piece, not a study. Set a goal to implement one thing that you've learned. If you've worked on perspective, create a scene with extreme angles. If you studied lighting, push yourself to make complex shadows. Make something ambitious. Something that feels just a little beyond what you're capable of. Make sure that you commit to finishing it, no matter how frustrated you get, no matter how much you feel like you're failing. Complete it. Because every time that you complete a piece, you are leveling up. You will struggle, you will make mistakes, but this is the final step in turning knowledge into skill. This is what separates the artists who improve from the ones that stay stuck. Making mistakes makes you a better artist. Now that you can learn to fix your own mistakes, the information in this video still won't work if you don't know what you're drawing, if you don't know why you're drawing in the first place. So watch this video on that exact topic now.